Hello and good evening, everyone. Today's webinar topic is Retirement Manifesto Turning Financial Wisdom into Action. So, for this, we have with us Dr. K.S. Rao, former EVP at Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC Limited. Dr. K.S. Rao is a distinguished leader in India's mutual fund industry with over 3 decades of comprehensive experience spanning sales, distribution, marketing, strategy planning, and investor education. A transformational leader and visionary coach, he has consistently set benchmarks in financial literacy and inclusion. Under K.S. Rao sir, his leadership means at Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund (ABSLMF) conducted over 18,000 investor awareness program, empowering lakhs of investor and financial advisors nationwide. He also spearheaded the creation of Nippon Learning Academy, which trained over 1 lakh mutual funds distributor with cutting-edge modules, significantly upskilling the distribution ecosystem. Now, a short glimpse about NISM. NISM is a public trust established in 2006 by SEBI, the regulator of the securities markets in India. The institute carries out a wide range of capacity building activities at various levels aimed at quality standard in securities markets. Now, before beginning the session, I would like to request participants to note some important points. First, that the question will be taken at the end during the Q&A segment. Second, all participants will receive a participation certificate within 3 to 4 working days. And third, the recording of this session will be available on the NISM YouTube channel. Now I request K.S. Rao sir to begin with this session.
Hi. Thank you, Mr. Sahil. Thanks a lot. Good evening, everyone. Thanks to NISM for having this national webinar and having me here. Uh, like, uh, uh, Give me a minute. Sahil, my presentation is visible, right? Sahil, is my presentation visible? Okay. Thank you. Thanks for the chat and informing me that it is visible and audible. For me, it's like, I used to do organize many of the webinars in the past, but in the last 7 to 8 months, probably I'll offer my studies at Harvard. And this is my first session soon after coming back. And indeed, glad to connect. I really compliment NISM taking the lead and the kind of webinars they're organizing, and NISM coming to NISM is coming as a homecoming to me. It's like, NISM in the previous avatar at ICM. We are the children of that, and we got trained, educated many a number of years. And it's like, I'm closely associated with NISM in my previous organization, in many of the profiles. And it's like, and kudos to NISM and the leadership, the kind of work, the capacity building and capability building, and doing enormous work in terms of not only the examinations, but in terms of creating the courses and getting the things done. And I compliment Shashi sir for bringing newness into the NISM, and it is Rashmit for inviting me, and Sahil for organizing this. Keeping that, I mean, let me start without much ado. This evening, we thought we will have some conversations. We had many a times we discussed about retirement planning. Retirement planning has become it's a buzzword for any one of us. And today, when I look at sometimes when I see Indian statistics on the retirement planning, it's like, recently one of the insurance company in India has done some survey. It's like on the retirement planning, and that shows. It's like, I think it's the HSBC Canada Co. They have done this survey. What it shows is 70% of the people have not planned for the retirement, and those who have planned, 30% of the people who have planned, they have not made the full retirement plan ready. And that's where I thought it's a conversation today could be on the retirement planning and the retirement planning manifesto. And manifesto, like, how we can have the ideal retirement and how one can have secure and fulfill retirement. I think these three words, which we will I mean, discuss in the next 45 minutes. Post that we will have a Q&A. In the meanwhile, any questions you get, you can post it in the Q&A part, and then we can take it later, question by question. I'll try to answer as much as possible, as much I can do it, and even little spread across five. Still, we will try to answer the questions. Glad you took time and you are here. And either, I mean, you may be planning for your retirement, you may be one of the advisors who are advising you many of your investors. You may be a coach. I mean, you are someone, which I don't. Either way, for every one of us, either I am coaching someone or advising someone. These three parts are very important part for us. It's like, these three parts, when I look at retirement planning manifesto, it's like, it's the three words which are very buzzwords for us. The retirement planning and manifesto. Retirement is something, it's not exactly the age at which we retire, but stage at which we retire. Retirement is not an age, but a stage for the freedom. Freedom for the, it's just like, it's a freedom which can give freedom of time, freedom of choice, and freedom of financial worry, how we can plan for the retirement. And planning is, that is the only way we can make this stage become useful to us and not stressful to us. If we are not planning for the retirement, and it will become a stressful way of life when we are going to live. And why we need to look at manifesto? Sometimes the word manifesto we most of the times hear during the pre-elections, political manifestos. But manifesto is something you need to manifest. It is manifest is not an advice, but it is a declaration which we are giving. This is what I intend to manifest my retired life. I work for 30 years. Our life, if I can look at, it is a 30-30-30. First 30 years, we are into the education and formation. Next 30 years, we are working. And the later 30 years, we are living without work, but we need to have that income, how we can look at. And this is where we will discuss how this manifesto can become. Manifesto can become an intentional manifesto, and the manifesto can become, it has to empower us, how we can plan. And manifesto is our guide, our GPS, where we can look at. And for this manifesto, none is accountable, but me as a person, me who was planning to retire, is accountable. That's where we can look at. This is where I thought that's a retirement planning manifesto, or we will have those conversations. But before we go forward, we will need to understand what is retirement, how it is, how we look at retirement in Indian context. When I ask people, we used to do large number of retirement webinars and conferences, and conclaves. And most of the times when we ask people, retirement is in the mind. I think, government and state government, some of them at 58, governments at 60, and some of the public sectors are at, people retire at 60 or 58. And of course, even the private sectors, most of them, they follow the age of 60. And globally, most of the countries are at 65. But this retirement concept, which itself has come around independence period, where we were looking at the average lifespan of the person was under 40, and the retirement was decided. This is a system defined age limit. Doesn't mean that it stops us working. Probably we need to we look at in detail. In the next 30 minutes, we will have these conversations, how that, I mean, how I can challenge this part of it. And this is a, this 60 for us, technically, we are leaving our job and we are ceasing to work. This could be 20 years back, could be true, but today most of the people will come back and work. They reinvent themselves, and they are looking at. And with the rising life expectancy of 2 to 3 decades of a relaxing life, we don't know what to do next. And this retirement, sometimes it becomes painful, sometimes it could be a pleasurable. In fact, I used to have this one question asking people, when what I ask, I used to ask in my seminars, what do you mean you can explain retirement for you in one single word or one single sentence? And lot of the times people will answer 5 or 6 ways. I mean, most of the answers which I look at is, people said it is a long life ahead. It is a long life ahead. And then, people also look at, sometimes very optimistically, they say it is a new opportunities for me, and it is also a new challenges for me. And then some places which I heard, it is an excitement. Some places I heard it is an anxiety. Excitement, I am going to lead a better, comfortable life. Anxiety, how I need to lead next 30 years of my life. Then the people also retrospect and introspect. They can do is, what they think of it is, I would like to do things which I was unable to do earlier, and this is a free time for me. This is what the definition people said. And people said, I want to reinvent myself. I want to rediscover myself. I want to rewire myself. And I've seen the best definition which I could see for the retirement is till other day I was working. I mean, now it's I stopped working, but I start living, and this is the beginning of new life for me, beginning of the excitement for me. But all said and done, there is a back of the mind, there is a fear. The fear today, I mean, we are in the financial world. We'll talk about beyond finances, but in the financial world, we talk about what we think as, will I have enough money to meet all my expenses till the end of my life? Do I outlive my money, or my money will outlive me? And if that is the case, how do we need to? And it's serious concept. Globally, most of the countries will have a social security norm. In India, we do not have social security norm per se, but thanks to our current prime minister, a lot of things have been planned and a lot of getting executed. But it is all we individual need to plan things. We need to work, and it's where we need to look at. It is like, if I can look at the old way, if I can go back and say how the retirement in the old way is looking at, it is like this. Like, retirement usually associated is people who are getting old, and you can look at, I mean, I recall my own grandfather when he's retired. It was like, rather than a joyful moment, people were looking at, oh, what we can do next, kind of it. And people look very old. And sometimes the moment they retire, they lose the purpose and they lose their one's health. And there, most of the times, retirement is to happen because we were in a giant family system and we depended on someone, and you are becoming financially dependent on someone, which has resulted in anxiety and uncertainty and sense of loss of purpose. Because till the time of working, you have that confidence, you are an earning member, you have a financial freedom, and you are doing that. And then how we can look at the new way of retirement? What is that new way which is coming in over last 1 decade? How people are looking at it? It is today people are looking at retirement is like, let me stay rejuvenated. I was coming recently from New York to India, and in my flight, in my seat next to me, both left and right side, the parents who are attending to their children coming back. I mean, most of them, they are retired. Probably I look at, the leading the life of luxury, and they look at, the rejuvenated. I have stayed 6 months with my child. I come back to India for 6 months. This is the kind of a rejuvenation they look at, and most of them focusing on the good health. If you can go to any society today, any communities, people, the retirement senior citizen clubs which are there, they work on their health, they work on their time management, and they enjoy their life with the other comrades and achieving the financial independence. I think that's where the new way of looking at this will give you what? It will give you a fulfillment and a purpose to live longer, purpose to make it better, and focusing on the well-being. Probably the people who have a strong social connection, strong good family relations, good community reach, they have that comfort of a well-being, and they lead a better life. And it's like this, the convention approach is changing to the modern approach. Modern approach doesn't mean that I need to retire at 60. I may retire at 65, I may retire at 45. If I am financially independent, I can retire at my comfort. Just a minute. I think my system is creating some problem. Yeah. And you may retire. Today, we can focus on that financial independence. These conversations today on our retirement planning, let us not just talk about retirement as a age, but retirement as a stage, retirement as a look, financial life, how we can build on it. It is like, how we can choose better, and what is that, how we can achieve that financial independence, and what is the sufficient savings we have. I mean, can I lead my post-retirement life equal to the pre-retirement life? Can I have a right balanced diverse portfolio? How can I provide for my life ahead and throughout the years? And why this retirement planning matters at this point of time. Over a period of time, if you can go back to 1940s to today or 1960s to today, 1960, the average life expectancy in India used to be 60. Today, it's like an official countdown says 72, but most of the people living between 80 and 90, even 100. I think, there is a wonderful book called, like, it's going to be the child who is born today is going to live, not just live, is going to work for 100 years work life. This is a Professor Linda Granton has written a book called 100 Years Work Life. Means we need to evolve ourselves, we need to change ourselves, how we can plan our life better, how we can plan our finances, and how we can plan the second phase of life or second innings of the life. And the second is changing the family structures. We moved from the joint family to the nuclear family. Today we are independent of ourselves. Unless you plan for yourself, there is nothing called a dependency. It is like, depending on the child could be, may not be right thing, because everyone got their own lives. I mean, I keep jokingly used to say, tell in some of the seminars, like, your child cannot be your retirement plan, and you cannot be your child's emergency plan. You need to be independently of those. And end of it, what we need to look at is the financial independence. Financial independence is like, I don't need to work for money, and money works for me. How I need to do and how I need to plan for it. Our wants are changing, our needs are changing, and we need to look at in a very, very, very different way how the like, how the retirement life is going to be expected. And before we embark on this journey, let us ask ourselves, if we are planning for our second innings of the life, what are those five questions I need to ask for myself? If I get these answers, my retirement planning can happen very well, because that gives a precursor to me. I can get aware what I need to do, and it gives a clarity to me. Then I can work on what I need to do it. It is like, what is a desired lifestyle in the second stage of life, in the second innings of life. Your lifestyle defines what kind of money you need, what kind of life you need to work. Then you need to work on the retirement corpus. What is your desired lifestyle? Is the question number one to ask for ourselves. Second is, what hobbies do I have now? And what I would like to carry these hobbies little later. Sometimes it could be a very expensive hobbies. I may not fund for it. Sometimes I may not have any hobby, but I get into the hobby that can cost me something else. It's like personal finance is always person before the finance. Each one of us are very different, and each one of our personal financial life and personal life is different. Then it is we need to plan ourselves in that way, how we can plan for it. Then what is a ROI? ROI, normally what happens is, we call it as a return on investments. I could see some of the professors who have joined today. I mean, welcome to all the one of the wonderful professors, lecturers, teachers who are here. I could see in the participants list a while ago. And this is a month we celebrated Teachers Day, September 5th. And I congratulate each one of you. You are being in the noble profession of a teaching, and you are creating a world of difference, and you are creating a next generation who can equip with themselves to live longer and live better and live wiser. And then coming back on ROI, it is like, this ROI for us during our king years is like, I put some money, that is a return on investment. And but when I retire, my ROI can be two or three different types of ROI it will become. One is, can I get a regularity of income? Can I get my regular income? And second is my reliability of income. And ROI could be my rate of inflation, or it could be a rate of interest, or it could be a return on my investment, and or it's like, return of my investment. And how does one live a comfortable life after retirement? Look at these three or four different kind of ROIs, not that just return on investment. It could be a rate of inflation, rate of interest, and reliability of income. You need to plan for it. And how many years do you have to your retirement? When I'm planning now, if somebody is at 40, maybe you are planning to retire at 60, then you have 20 years for retirement, then you can plan it differently. But you are at 55, you are retiring at 60, then your 5 years, you need to plan it differently. Some of you are at 30, then another 30 years, you can plan it differently. How many years to retirement I have? And third, last question I need to ask is, after retirement, how many years I am going to keep my money, expecting my lifestyle, expecting my life I'm going to live. Somebody retires at 60. Imagine a situation, the person is looking to live for another 25 years, maybe 85 years. Means he or she has to bucket for her retirement planning for 25 years. And second part, you need to plan for your spouse lifespan. If, for example, if you are at a you are living, I mean, if you are if you are a male, I mean, you are living for 85, your spouse is 2 years younger, but women live little longer. And if she lives till 90, means you need to bucket your retirement for you for 25 years, for your spouse for 30 years. Then combinedly you can plan your finances. Means these five questions gives an utmost clarity. Probably take some time, take a note of it, take a screenshot of it, and keep writing on this that can give an answer to you. And I always believe right advisor, right financial advisor, right coach can always help you better on the retirement, especially for the retirement is one we always postpone it because that is one goal. We keep on postponing it because it's a very distant goal. And there is one thing we also need to remember. We get loans in every bank today for everything what we need. I want to buy a bike or a car, or I want to buy a house. There is a loan which is available. But there is no loan available to me if I plan for my retirement. Means, there is nothing I need to plan for myself. Means, we get into the active income, we get into the passive income. When you're actively earning, convert that into the investment, then income, then the passive you can manage. And retirement is one about the wealth, second is about health, third is about your emotion. We need to look at after answering these five questions, we need to get those three aspects of it: your money, your health, and your emotion. There is always a question: what is the financial independence and how the retirement is different? Retirement planning and financial independence, two different entities. And retirement, you like it or not, it happens. You don't need to plan. If you are not planning for it, it will not wait for it, because age arrives, time arrives, you need to retire. And retirement without financial independence, it will become a disaster. Probably, we struggle, and the later part we will make ourselves miserable. It is like, 2020 cricket we are all watching today. I mean, in first innings, I have not scored well. And second innings, I need to struggle to keep the competition at a low score, which may be a difficult. And, then we end up losing the match. Similarly, we end up losing the life. I mean, you're losing the living the life rather. And financial independence is a choice. The day we take a choice, we can save rightly, we can invest appropriately, and plan purposefully. And financial independence is a choice, whether to continue to work or taking a retirement. Once you have a financial independence, you can take a choice. You doesn't need to retire. I have seen many individuals, they plan for the early retirement, but they get some quite a good amount of money, corpus, which is called I mean, nest egg. But after a couple of years, they get bored of things. They come back to the work, and that's where you have a choice to do, and you can decide on that choice. Then, retirement planning always comes with a lot of challenges. The challenges, most of it is our own, and challenges which are coming from outside. Like, there are five challenges I can spare here. One is, our risk profile changes. Sometimes we are risk averse, sometimes we are risk takers. It depends on the market, it depends on the income and how we can look at. You need to address what kind of risk you are in and how much risk you can take. What is your risk profile? Probably, understand your risk profile year after year. And your investments, like, whatever the money we make investments, probably last 5 years my investment would have done very well. Probably previous, like, if you can look at 2008 to 2014, markets have not given any returns to you. That is a time your investments have underperformed, your corpus is much lesser. And there is the third one. We get some emergency. We eat away from our retirement corpus. It's like it would be a child education to pay, or it's a, like, we are buying a house. What we do is we will plan for the retirement corpus. We take out from that, and there is an early redemption we can look at. And we also sometimes underestimate our corpus. As I said earlier, it could be ROI, return on investment. One, interest rates may come down. That's the rate of interest, or rate of inflation may go up. And this is a corpus underestimation will happen because of these two. Then second, the longevity of life. And, I think my good friend Ajit Menon, he coined one great, nice word, which is called today, not just longevity for retirement, we need to have a longevity. I need to live longer, and my money also should live longer. Longevity of life, then the inflation, how the inflation is paying. Higher inflation, then corpus will come down, then I need to grow beyond the corpus. And how I am looking at my expenses. The inflation is going up, my expenses will go up. My lifestyle changes, my expenses will go up. I need to look at those expenses, how it can be. And most of the times our savings are less and investments are not appropriate. And these are the biggest challenge we can look at, we need to work. And the last but not the least, fall in interest rates and annuity rates. Like, now interest rates are coming down. You anticipate. I have a friend of mine who stays in New Zealand. His father is a retired banker who stays in Pondicherry. And this uncle, wherever, whenever I go to Pondicherry, I will say hi to him. and he's a core banker. And soon after his retirement, he got substantial money, but he is very risk averse. He ensured entire his corpus, put it in his bank from where he is retired. And during the time when he has retired, he has planned budgeted in such a way he has got interest rates for 8% or 8.5%. When I met him a couple of years later, I mean, interest rates have come down to 6%. Then, when I was asking him, how is your retired life? He said, retired life is good, but my corpus is like, I'm not taking not only the interest I'm eating away, I'm taking money from my corpus because rates have come down. I am taking out money. Means, following in interest rates will deplete your corpus which you have created. This is where you need to look at fallen interest rates and annuity. You need to very look at. Means, coming back, how you can create your retirement plan manifesto. Manifesto is something like a vision board for you. And this vision board, you are writing your retirement goals, and you will write your retirement strategy and how you can make it tax efficient, how your income sources coming, what is the health cost. This is a manifesto, is a Bible or Gita or Quran. I mean, where it can lead us, how we can plan our retirement life. It is a book of retirement for me on my finances, my personal life, and my longevity of life, which can create. I will talk to you some of these things, how you need to do, what you need to do, when you need to do, how we can plan for it. I will do it. But effectively, five things. Most of my slides I'll talk about five is the purpose. I mean, that can give a little more clarity. It will be on your fingertips. The five things when I tell. The first one is purpose. We need to have the higher purpose of our retirement. And the retirement should give me the freedom, the financial freedom, freedom from, I can give it's a freedom of time and freedom of choice. And financial, it also need to be a growing corpus for me. My corpus should not end as I retire. If I retire at 60, I'm at 70. If I'm going to next 10 years, 10 years later, if I have a 10 crores corpus, 10 years later, it should not become 8 crores, probably 10 plus something, because, my corpus should always be growing, how I can need to look at. Then I need to balance it. One is asset allocation balancing, second is balancing the lifestyle, third is coping with the situation. And the last but not the least is the legacy we pass on to the generation next or to the community next, or myself, the legacy which you intend to create, adding value to yourself, adding value to the work you have done, and you go back from this world creating that your legacy. I had a privilege, I mean, honor to know personally our previous president, Dr. Kalam ji. I mean, every walk when I was with him for a few hours, that learning could be lot. The legacy, the person who want to leave that. It's like you live that kind of a life. What is the legacy you intend to look at and understand when it comes to the finance? This is a most important part of it. Simple, but we neglect it, the time value of money. Your anger, you start a little money for your retirement corpus that can become a huge money. Even a 5,000 rupees SIP can create a 1.5 to 1.2 crores of retirement corpus for you. You delay, but you increase your money. Then the 6,000 you want to increase 5 years delay, but your corpus will come down to 90. Or later, even your corpus can become three times, and you delayed by 15 years, your corpus will become half of it. Means this is a assumption. This is a You can look at time value money calculators. I think NISM website got a quite good number of calculators you can look at, and SEBI's website got, AMFI website got, a lot of mutual fund houses, they got their investor education websites, which have got these calculators. You can use those tools. Probably you can download an app on your mobile. You can see these calculators, how the time value of the money can work for you. And you can invest. My whole intention to say is, never start late, start immediately, start early, even the little money. Don't postpone the retirement. I used to do this workshop for the college students called My First Paycheck. This is for the final year graduates who are going to earn their learning stage to earning stage. I used to emphasize at the end of the workshop to them, they need to plan for their retirement from the very first paycheck they got it in their career, so that their retirement life can be more happier, more merrier, and little change. 5,000 bucks is nothing, and that can nothing can make you something, and it can become a big thing at the retirement. This is about time value of money. And there is a planning for the life stages. There are different life stages in our life. Early career, I said, if you are looking at 90 years of my life and 25 years, you end up on your studies and your childhood, the joyful period of it. And early career, the 25 to 35, you have a time is your biggest asset. And at this point of time, if you are building the habits of a financial savings while you are enjoying your life little, I keep telling these young boys and girls, I mean, thanks to the government of India, we have this PF and EPF, where 12% of our earnings will go to the provident fund, and employer also will contribute. Probably another 12% you can create out, and rest of the money you can always enjoy. You can, after creating your emergency fund, saving for your retirement, saving for the later part, and saving for investing in yourself, that makes huge corpus available to you at the 25 to 30. But in a mid career, what happens is your expenditure will go up. You have a children, you have a school education, you want to build a house. Probably your income may be going up, but your expenses also going up. But how you need to accelerate your savings, and getting into the good equity mutual funds or national NPS. NPS is another great tool you can look at. Equity mutual funds can create a lot of wealth, and how you can plan for it, because longer the career, longer the time, even the risk is also lesser it will become, so that your return can be reasonably good. I mean, you can assume if India is growing at 7%, India's inflation is at 6%, 13% is a return, 13 plus fund manager can give another 1 to 2% extra. 15% CAGR could be a substantial return if you are starting at this point of time. And later part of the career, 46 to 55, probably when I interacted with most of the people across, my experience shows that is the time they have a little more extra money available, because children are reasonably settled and expenditures have come down, incomes have gone up. Probably this is a time you need to do higher contributions, create a portfolio, maybe little more secured portfolio you can look at. And pre-retirement is a transition phase where you can make your money. I mean, there is a three stages of, like, accumulation stage and decumulation stage. Between there is a transition phase. This is a phase, you can look at. In the accumulation phase, cash is your capital. In the transition place, you can make your safety net. And in the decumulation place, you can systematic withdrawal plans kind of it, which can work for you. You can plan. Retirement plan needs to evolve. I mean, different life stages needs a different kind of a strategy. You need to stay, pause, and look, and you can work on it. And in India, fortunately, we have multiple opportunities to invest. One taking care of the safety, one taking care of the balancing the safety and return, or the high return. I can contribute to my. I mean, it's a combination of this. I can create my nest egg. It could be employee provident fund. It could be a public provident fund. Whatever the limits I have available, I can use that. It could be an NPS, and it could be a mutual funds. A combination of this can create me a sizable, a sizable corpus to me, which will be more secured and more comfortable and more balanced. And there are various products at a various life stages. At distribution stage, we have a different products, like, I can put it in my money in the equity, I can put in alternate assets, I can put it in PMS, I can put it in the mutual funds. Then I have an option to put into the real estate. I can make invest in REITs, I can put it in invests, and I can put it in a fixed income schemes. I can put it in post office savings and senior citizens savings plan. I can put it in bank deposits. I can put my money into the fixed income mutual funds, debt mutual funds, which I want to talk. I can put it into the annuities. I can also put into the Prime Minister Vayovandana Yojana. I mean, effectively, I can plan. These are the various buckets available. Okay, there is a clarity which I need is how to put, how much to put, where to put. Maybe a right advisor can always help to channelize this. When things are confused, options are plenty. There are coach who can help us. That coach is the right person where we can take and help. Probably retirement planning is one. It is not an stage. This is my personal opinion. I mean, nothing related to anyone. It is just like, it creates a lot of confusion. Better to have someone as a coach who can guide you to win the match, not only win the life. Probably managing finances post retirement is a crucial plan. And one is pre-retirement. You create a plan to save, and post retirement you plan in such a way this money lasts for you longer beyond you. I mean, you have a various options again. When you invested in the mutual funds, you can have a systematic withdrawal plan to take. End of it, what is your cash flow requirement? How you need to plan for it? Maybe 5 years bucket. If you can cash flow, then you can bucket in such a way. You have your pension, you have your annuity, you have your dividend, you have your rental income, your systematic withdrawal, SWP money, all that put together, how much cash you need, and each of these sources, how they are contributing to you. And including then you can plan for your investments with the right asset allocation, most tax efficient, and the convenient way to withdraw, and liquidity is available to you when you need, how much you need, how you need to spend. And this is where you can manage your finances. As I said earlier, each of these phases, you also need to plan efficiently on the tax planning. I know currently, if you can look at, if I can plan my taxes rightly, I mean, paying tax is good for the country, saving tax is good for you. And when there is an option of saving tax for you, you need to plan in such a way you can maximize and optimize the savings on the taxation, and you can have a tax efficient withdrawal so that every rupee is working for you and you don't need to worry for it. And it is a legitimate way to save more and invest more and make the money to work more for you. It is a strategic tax planning. Probably, your advisor can help you on the tax planning. And the tax planning is one aspect, investment planning is other aspect. The most important part of it is, I was reading this article written by Nitin Kamath sometime back, very nicely articulated article, which he said, one health havoc can cost our entire lifetime savings. And that's where we need to plan very rightly. Probably, you should have right kind of health insurance, which could be a comprehensive, which can give adequate coverage, and which can also have a critical illness cover, because we do not know and when what will happen to us. It is like, we can't predict what will happen, but what we can do is we can prepare for what can happen, and hopefully that doesn't happen. But I need to plan for it. I need to prepare for it. And this is where I need to create that, that kind of a critical illness cover. There is certain things under control, certain things not under control. Probably I used to advise most of the people during my career is, create a healthcare corpus. There is an exclusive SIP money which is going for health corpus. For example, as you retire, for example, somebody is retiring today with 5 crores of money. Can you create a 50 lakhs or 1 crore of money, which is your healthcare corpus for you, where you can, even in case of emergency, you withdraw from it. There is no emergency, that corpus keep growing for you. It's the best way to plan for it. It's a simple, I mean, if you can strategize, then you don't need to worry. The moment you don't worry, your health is always better. That's a phenomenal past. I mean, then there is a preventive health care, going for regular checkups and keeping ourselves planning for our health. I mean, we should not neglect that part. That's the most important part. I mean, as Swami Vivekananda says something, it's wealth is lost, wealth is lost, nothing is lost, health is lost, something is lost, and character is lost, everything is lost. But here I'm talking about health. Definitely something is lost, the corpus which you created, which you need to work for it. And that's where you have a healthcare planning. And coming back, the next what it is our estate planning. Estate planning is, it's like, I mean, none of us, it's like everyone know our date of birth. We do these seminars, we ask this question. The question to ask the people is, how many of you know your date of birth? And every hand will go up, right? Your date of birth, until and unless our parents have not recorded rightly, even some of us may not be knowing the date of birth rightly. And the one thing which we do not know is DOB we know, but DOD we do not know, date of death. And when it will come, we don't know. And we have seen recent past a pandemic which has created a havoc. And anything can happen any point of the time. And keeping control, one is, planning for the finances is one, and keeping our finances in a ready document is second. Third is passing to the next generation with a clarity is the third one. And this is where I talk about writing the will. And WILL, I used to say it's an acronym kind. Most of us during the lifetime, I say WILL. I mean, that is I want to my will to live longer. But WILL is an acronym. Wish I live longer. But unfortunately or fortunately, the DOD is going to happen one day. Between the DOB and DOD, there is a letter called C. B and C, there is a letter called C. We have a choice how we need to make our finances to go. And when we leave this world, we don't leave, we leave the money, leave the wealth to our next generation, but not the mess to the next generation. We need to create this legally binding document, how our assets can be passed on to the next generation or to the charity whom we intend to give back to them. And this registration of this will is not a, it is a simple will we can always create, even written will do it. And registration is recommended but not mandatory in India. And then we always think, I have done nomination part, I don't need to write will. But nomination, what happens is nomination gives only an authority to the person take the assets on your behalf and pass it on to someone else. And sometimes it may not give a clarity, and there are a lot of legitimate issues which are coming in the families post the death is painful. Then third one is the creating a power of attorney. Sometimes we may be living it, but sometimes we get incapacitated. It could be a general power of attorney or specific power of attorney. What we need to do is authorizing someone to take action on our behalf. And the last, if I'm a businessman, I'm a business. Probably I need to look at my succession planning in a most tax efficient way. I can pass on my business, I can pass on my assets to the next generation so that business can grow to the generation after the generation. And little bit of taking time, taking pause, doing estate planning is equally part of your retirement planning. And uh, and of course we have taken care of money, we have taken care of our health, we can taken care of our assets. But life is not beyond, life is beyond. We need to revolve beyond, which is beyond the finances, which is emotional. And we live our life. We are today we are in an artificial intelligence world, but we are human beings, we have a connect, and we need to have this emotional social well-being is part of the planning for the retirement. Do you have a right social connections? Are you living it rightly? And you have got the right hobbies, and how you build your family, friends, and community. I think in like I was reading a book which is in the Japan, where people have this right social connection. They live beyond 100 years. You need to look at that kind of a community where you can build. Just renew your social connections much before you retire. After retire, you want to renew, probably will become very difficult. And you need to find a purpose of serving something beyond yourself. That purpose will create your mental health, and it can create a longevity. Probably, we are worried about Alzheimer's, and we worried about memory loss, etc. That will not happen to us when we have a purpose beyond ourselves, and purpose to live, and purpose to be happy, purpose to be healthy, purpose to be wealthy, and purpose to be in a harmony. And we can volunteer and do community work, and we can mentor others. And all that we have learned during our career, we can pass on. And it's a sorry, there are some typo errors on my presentation. My apologies. I was just looking at. And then you have a physical health, focusing on regular health habits is the most important. And last but not the least, living arrangements. If you are living in an environment where it enhances the quality of life, choose the choice where you can get the joyful living life, and which can your support your lifestyle goals. Then you can plan for your finances. And before we conclude, I would like to say, like, all this is fine. Retirement is going to happen. I think in next 2 or 3 minutes, we will, I mean, then we can take those questions which are coming in the Q&A. And what is the roadmap we need to look at? We talk about manifesto, manifestation, and how do I manifest? Then what is your retirement number? Exact number you can look at. People roughly call there is a 25x rule. Your annual expenses of 25, you are retiring at 60, and you are going to live up to 85. There is called 25x rule, which people talk about, which is adjusted for the inflation you need to look at. But this number may not be sacrosanct. Take Excel calculator, take your mobile calculators, or go to NISM website and look at those calculators. Talk to your advisor. What is your retirement number? Because this number is for each one, it is very, very different number. You need to work on this number in a very different way and create an asset allocation strategy. And the asset allocation is the most important part. Develop a diversified portfolio according to your age, according to your risk tolerance. And then you can then there is a framework for establish a framework for your health and disability insurance, etc., where you need to look at how you can plan for it. And last but not the least, all the legal documents you are creating, will nomination, power of attorney in place, and you can ensure your family knew, and your one of your close circle will knew. Probably have these conversations about this so that there will be an utmost clarity, and your retirement will become most happier. Retirement can become a joy of doing it. It is like the retirement will reignite for you, retirement can revitalize for you. And retirement is no, you can say life begins at 60, and you can plan for your retirement in a very different way. Three pillars for the retirement always is: just look for your liquidity, the cash flow available to you is sufficient and you're planned right. And you are writing, I mean, you are having a rising regular income, because you need to bucket for your inflation. The if you are spending 3 lakh rupees this month, this year, for your monthly expenditure, your annual expenditure, next year it could be a 3 lakh 30,000, 10% if you take the inflation. Means rising regular income you need to plan. And the Third one is your growing corpus. You plan in such a way your corpus need not shrink. You need to plan in such a way your corpus is growing. In fact, I am writing my next book, which is called Life is Good to Life is Great. That great I am doing it is an acronym. What you need to, if you have to make your retirement great, GREAT. GR is a growing corpus. E is your estate planning. A is your asset allocation. T is your tax efficient income. If you can plan the three pillars approach, and then we also call in the financial planning world, we to call it as a retirement planning in a three bucket approach. And one bucket can provide you the liquidity, other bucket can provide your investments, can give you the regular income. There is third investment can give you the growth. This a combination of this can be a wonderful balance. You live your life happily today, you happily tomorrow, and you can pass on the legacy because your assets are growing as you are aging, and you live, I mean, your money outlast you, and the money will, it can be passed on. And ideal retirement goal can have six things to look at. Your right health, I mean, focus on a good health. And it's you can plan spending time with your family. It's like most of the times your work life, you are neither given a quality nor the quantity. Now you have a quality of time, you have a quantity of time. How you can spend quality time with your family and giving back to the society. I think retirement is also forms into the three G's. The first G I can say is you need to bring the make the money and grow that corpus. And second G is during transition phase, guard that corpus. Third G is you give that corpus, and giving back to the society, giving back to the charity, giving back to the country is the most important part of it. That can become a higher purpose for us. And we need to provide for our travel and hobbies and others. And it's life is not just living for money. Life is living for the experiences. How you can provide it that, and you get that steady income is you plan for a steady income throughout throughout your lifespan. And the one thing which connect for every one of us to the almighty, whether whichever the religion we belong to, in the spirituality, living from the lower purpose to the higher purpose, this purpose for which we are living, purpose for which we evolved, the spirituality. This could be ideal retirement goals we can manifest and we can put for it. And truly life begins at 30, and retirement is not an age, retirement is a stage of life. And thank you and happy retirement. And but this all that I spoke is generic, and what you need to do is it's specific to you. You need to consult your retirement advisor, your financial planner, your coach, your banker, your distributor, whoever. So with this, I'll stop sharing my presentation. Probably in the next 15 minutes we can have some of those questions answered. Thank you so much for it. Rajnikant Gajar, redefine great acronym. I said GREAT. GR is one word. It is a growing corpus. E is your estate planning. A is your asset allocation. T is your tax efficient income. And that's where I was looking at. Thank you so much for such a wonderful compliments from many of you. And I will take the some of these sessions. This presentation, Mohanji, when you are talking about, which will be available, the entire YouTube video is available at an ASM website. Probably, that itself carries it. I'm sorry, Lakshmana, previous slide, please. Which slide? I'm not very sure. I can take back there. If I can run once again, if you can let me know, I can run that. And thanks, Mr. Yadav, for your compliments. It's a wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. You said. I mean, truly appreciate for taking time and being there. And this is I don't know the name of the person, but it is coming from the Motorola Mobile. Thank you for your compliments. I know you are 34 and information is really helpful, my dear good friend. I mean, this is the age where you can plan. Honestly, little money you set aside and start investing regularly, and that can make you wonderful and wonderful. It's like, I've just published a book called Retirement Planning Manifesto. It's how you can write on that, how you can plan for it. It's just you can look whenever you find time. And thank you, Miss Priya Pender, for your compliments. Where can we find this presentation? This presentation will be there at a NISM YouTube channel, and I think they will post in a day. And thanks to Mr. Piyush Patel. Thank you so much. And yeah, I just back from my Harvard Business School. Let me also tell you my own personal experience. I got retired officially on 31st of January 2025 at the at the age of 60. I went back for my 9 months program with Harvard Business School to reinvent myself. I told the world I am not retiring TIRNG. I am retiring to reinvent myself and getting back to the work and doing that. And then what are the other questions which are here? Ajinkya, thank you so much for your compliments. Thank you. Really appreciate for it. And Fakhruddin ji, thank you so much. And if we are helpful to you, we are grateful to you, and we can love to work on that. Thanks, Sujit Nandi, for your compliments. Thanks, Chandrakant. And no, Thank you so much. And thanks, Saurabh. Uh, Thanks, Lakshmana. It's thanks for all your compliments. I really appreciate. Uh, and somebody as Shailendra, you asked for specific mutual fund category to maximize returns. Probably I am not here to tell you need to consult your advisors. You need to and don't you can always maximize returns, but you need to optimize your risk. I mean, mutual funds got wide variety of category of foods. The mutual funds is a better way to invest our money. And I mean, I always call mutual funds are a mutual friends to accomplish your any of the goals. And today I can see people who lose money in rough and go world, they can come back to the mutual funds and they can see sizable one. And Sant Marai, thank for the compliments. I'm a retired banker and thoroughly enjoyed your session. Thank you so much, sir. I mean, I really appreciate, and I belong to three generations of teachers. I do respect every professor, every lecturer, and that's where I say Happy Teachers Day always. And this is the Shailendra small cap, mid cap, or large cap, or flexi cap. Depending on which goal you need to run, if how long you are investing. Probably every small cap got its own way to create a wealth. Mid cap got its own way. If you're longer time horizon, you can put in the small mid, or a combination of this is always ideal. I mean, when we are creating wealth, we don't when we get higher return, it may not make more happier. But when we are losing money, it makes more pain. What kind of a risk profile you have, you can look at that. And then uh, like you know what happened to Guru Murthy? Maybe you are asking for my colleague Guru sir. He is also actively working and he is making a lot of presentations across southern India. And Pintu Kumar, sir, right now I'm 34 years investing more in Provident Fund, but now I want to switch to equity. Pintu Kumar, you continue with your Provident Fund. You don't need to switch from, you need to do the balancing. The Provident Fund will take care of your fixed income debt category of it. Balance money can go to the equity. That's what I was telling you during the presentation. If I have a 12% of my money is going to the PPF, can I look at my another 12% of the money can go to the equity fund so that it can create a longer wealth and I can create a golden age plan. For me, this is a retirement is a golden age. In that golden age, we have four words GOLD. And to make it that gold, what we need to do is you need to create that golden age plan के लिए right invest nest egg. That GOLD is an acronym for me. I call G is you need to you need to be gainfully engaged. O is optimally invested, and you have a lifestyle of choice. And D is bring the discipline in every walks of life, so that golden age become truly golden age. Mr. Mohan Kumar, thank you for this class. Hopeful and develop our knowledge. Thanks, Mr. Mohan Kumar. I really appreciate. Mrinmai, thank you so much for your compliments. Siddharth, really appreciate for your compliments. And Suresh Shetty, you're asking on the health insurance premium. Yes, it looks exorbitant at the age, but I think there is some regulations which have come in. Things are changing, and probably you can talk to the health insurance guys. I think a lot of things have changed. Even you can yeah, it is definitely exorbitant. I fully agree with you, but you can there is no choice for us. We need to pay for it. We should not get into anything, but it's a preventive one. We need to plan for it, and within that, how you can minimize it, it's a good one. And Professor Dr. Manvalan, participation for progress, and so nice of you, sir. Amazing presentation. Thank you so much, and really appreciate Professor. And I'm so glad you are here, and I mean, you're an NISM resource person. I'm so glad, and continue doing good work. Continue work with NISM, and kudos to NISM for this. And Hemant Reddy, Hemant Reddy, sure, I will be doing a lot of webinars, and I'm back in action, and You can see me in most of the times. There will be soon going to be a TED talk on this, and soon it's going to be podcast next week. A lot can come, and I personally believe retirement planning should become a movement in the country, because we are talking about Vikshit Bharat. For me, 2047 Vikshit Bharat is India is a developed economy, but 2047 every Indian should have a financial independence, and he or she should not struggle for money, and money should help, and it's the way to go on it. And thanks, Mr. Venkat, for your compliments. Thanks, Mr. Modi, for the compliments. And Ajinkya, you are at the age of 44, trying to rebuild second career. And yeah, I think one is today we are living in a very uncertainty world. We like most of the people who are in IT or any other field, every 2 years we need to change ourselves. Probably while we need to plan for retirement at 60, we need to plan for some intermittent retirement, as well as incrementally investing in our progress, so that I am getting my qualifications right, investing in ourselves to get ready. Like our careers, my parents careers were very good. They started one career, retired at one career. I changed three jobs. Probably my children will join with five jobs. That's where you need to look at. Means you have a complications, you have a comfort, you need to plan for it, but nothing to worry, we can always face for it. And when you plan 10% of your money investing in yourself for your education, that could be the another retirement planning you can do for it. Uh, you can use this presentation, Priya, wherever you can take from it. Absolutely, this is open presentation which is available on the YouTube for you. And thank you so much, Shailendra, for these compliments. Really, I'll take back. And Stephen Robert tells, with shortened life expectancy, should we alter planning? No, I mean, our life expectancy is going much longer, and what we need to do, I mean, we need to, I mean, if we are like we live long, money should live longer than us, and we can pass on. Probably, Mr. Steven, I keep telling, for me, while you start your career, CTC is the cost to the company or contribution to the company. But CTC at later part, it could be a contribution to the church, or contribution to the charity, or contribution to the country. We need to work for it. Don't shorten your life. You need to live longer and happier life. Thank you so much. And with this, I think most of the questions I've answered. If there is anything pending, kindly repost it. I can do that. Really appreciate your participation, and it is a Navratri period, a happy period, and may we have the blessings of Goddess Saraswati. And with these learnings, Goddess Saraswati will bless us, and with our savings and investments, we have a Goddess Lakshmi's blessings. And last but not the least, right planning, we have a Goddess Durga's blessings. May we have this happy Navratri for each one of you. Happy retirement life, happy wonderful life. Thanks NISM for giving this clarity. Thanks to wonderful audience. Thanks for your all compliments. I thoroughly enjoyed your active participation. God bless you all. Happy Navratri to all. Thank you so much. Over to you, Sahil. Anything you want to conclude? Thank you so much. I really appreciate.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I would like to extend our heartfelt thanks for taking time and speaking at the webinar. Your insights, presentation, and knowledge as well truly made a lasting impact on our audience. Thank you again, sir, for your time and knowledge. Yeah. Wishing you a wonderful day ahead, sir.
Thank you so much. It's
Yeah.
exactly at 5. We are on time. And I
Yes.
wish your retirement planning should be on time. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And thank you to participants as well for joining us today. Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you for today.